I could have daggers in 100 necks by nightfall.
No doubt, but more necks would present themselves tomorrow.
I have other daggers.
Am I interrupting?
Forgive Thea. She gets testy when a contract is delayed.
Neither of you strike me as the bloodthirsty sort.
Our shared enemies deserve our worst.
You want help against the gods. We want Treviso free. We now think they may be the same problem. The occupation has a face. The Antam commander, Keith Lord Butcher Dathrata. But Viago thinks killing him outright is short-sighted.
The Butcher took the city suspiciously fast. Removing him is useless if someone else can repeat that, with the help of gods or something else. Despite it being the outcome, assassination is not about killing, it's about sending a message.
And what message would that be?
The Crows rule Antiva, and Treviso will be free.
The gods care about taking Treviso?
The Butcher wants Treviso. The gods may just want the Antam.
But Antam distrust magic and outright fear demons. They should be enemies.
Power can turn anyone against their own interests, their own people.
Sounds like you think the occupation wasn't just about force.
Cruel as the Butcher is, he didn't break the city with a siege. It was sudden and complete.
Like he had it all mapped. Where to march and what to close off to choke resistance.
He had inside information. Spies?
He had something.
And until we know what it was, killing him isn't the contract.
You're in charge? Antiva has a king.
And the power of a king is enforced by armies. Antiva has no army. It has the Crows.
There's a reason Antivan coins have portraits of guild leaders, not royalty. We're patriots. Crows can't field a battalion, but we protect our nation our way.
Butcher Dothrata. What do you know about him?
The Antam army fractured, split among warlords, and he seems to have kept the most traditional discipline. And the rank and file like it. His numbers keep growing, but the Butcher himself is odd.
Odd how?
He gives daily speeches about how the occupation is somehow merciful. And the way he talks, it's familiar. It's like he thinks he belongs here. And I won't have it.
Helping the Crows helps everyone in the long run. What's the first step to your message?
We have a scout named Dareth. He said he was onto something the Butcher was hiding.
He was in the Drown district, so that's a place to start. Find our Crow and help with his contract.
Find your Crow. Then what?
We break this occupation. We craft the message one step at a time.
And when we finally assassinate the person who leashed Treviso, that death will tell everyone. The Crows rule Antiva, and Treviso will be free.
I told you Crows to stay out of this!
Out of what? Defending our home?
If we had a stronger civil government instead of a bunch of circus criminals, the Antam wouldn't have a foothold in the first place!
You're responsible for the city?
This is Governor Evenchi. They have concerns.
My concern is how you've endangered the city.
We're defending Antiva.
These protections are in place for the good of everyone. You act without oversight.
We Crows are the oversight.
And yet, here we are, awash in Antam. And now, you've angered the Butcher.
It's bigger than whatever it is you're whining about. The gods are corrupting some of the Antam.
And the Butcher?
You two were right. He had help taking the city. Human traitors.
I didn't want to believe it. Killing the Butcher does nothing if someone could just sell us out again.
I'd start right here. You Talons are known for infighting and betrayal.
You're accusing them? One of their crows died for this contract.
That's enough. Rook, thank you for finishing that contract. The only reward we have is to ask you for more.
We're allies. Of course I'll help.
Evenchi is right about one thing. The Butcher will not like that we're fighting back.
We need to be ready. Rook, I will have every crow tracking this traitor and the gods, and we will send word when we find something.
The stakes are too high. This should be left to proper officials.
Go back to filing trade receipts, Evenchi. The crows rule Antiva.
And Treviso will be free. With or without you, Governor.
Rook, Ilario sent word. He's got intel on Zara. He wants to meet up. Fancy a trip to Treviso?
Sounds like fun.
I'm heading out to practice my new magic. I could use some moral support. I really have to get better at using my new abilities. Don't want to drop a rock on someone's head.
The Shadow Dragons have a hideout in Docktown. We should check in, see if there's news on the Venatori.
Already?
They work fast, and with that relic case off their hands, they'll work even faster. Meet you in Docktown.
All right. See this rock? I'm gonna move it. Oh, awkward.
Maybe if you used words?
What? Tell the rock what to do?
Sort of.
It's not a dog.
Yeah, but just try it.
Fly! Ah, you are the worst. The worst! So, a mental cue. Some kind of emotional trigger.
Maybe you could think about how your abilities protect us?
Instinct. Protection. Shield myself. Shield others. If I had this magic before, I could have... I could have protected the people who matter.
You can't blame yourself for everything. It'll destroy you.
Some thoughts just come. They leave their mark. Even when you push them away. I just have to concentrate on the people I can help. Either way, I think I'll need more practice with this. Don't you?
Easy.
Maker, I thought I was dead for sure.
Harding wouldn't let that happen.
The rocks. How did you do that?
Harding?
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
Sister, I feel you, touched by the ancients as I was. Find me, look to those closest to the stone, and find me.
Harding? What's wrong? What are you hearing?
I'm sorry. Let's just get our friend to safety, and then we'll talk. Okay.
Trouble in the Anvalanim. Darkspawn.
But those tunnels are safe passage for...
I know. We've had to close that entrance.
I know Darkspawn. I'll help. No time to waste. Those Darkspawn have to be destroyed before they get out into the city.
If you get through, signal the all clear at the hidden door. You really saved our skins there, Rook. Those Darkspawn could have destroyed us.
It wasn't just Darkspawn. Venatori were there too, and they weren't fighting each other.
How is that possible? Darkspawn attack all living things.
Darkspawn are blighted. If the gods control the blight, they might control the Darkspawn.
Darkspawn or Venatori, makes no difference. We'll defeat them all.
If you're looking for answers about the Venatori, I may have a lead. A warehouse on the other side of the city. Lots of cult activity. And some of them were spotted headed towards a shop. Could be a coincidence, or it could be something more.
It's worth a look.
Agreed. Rook?
Let's go.
You managed to catch the stragglers fleeing the warehouse.
They'll think twice before coming back here. What else did you find?
The Venatori serve Elganon and Gillinane like we thought. They gave the cult control over Darkspawn.
Great. Sounds like the Venatori are going to be even more trouble.
Is there something I can do? The risen gods are my responsibility too.
How do we know we can even trust you? You're not from here. You don't know Minrathous like we do. And we know as little about you as we do these risen gods you unleashed.
Now, what is it they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The cult has its hooks deep in the city. Venatori backers sit in the magisterium chambers, and now they wield power given to them by the gods. We'll have to get along if there's any chance of surviving this.
May, what are you doing here? You promised you'd lay low.
Tried it, didn't much care for it.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rook.
There's trouble in Minrathous, Venatori, and risen gods. Rook's helping us with it. Mayvarus is one of the Shadow Dragon leaders.
Mayvarus Talani, formerly Magister Mayvarus Talani, at your service.
Wait, formally?
My enemies conspired to have my magisterium seat stripped from me. We can talk about it later, if you want. My concerns feel petty when stacked against risen gods. The Shadow Dragons have a lot to discuss, but you, Rook, are expected at the Swan.
Me? The Cobbled Swan? Why?
The first warden is here to speak with you.
The first warden? Let's hope we actually get some help with the Blight.
Come back when you can. I think we'll need your help again.
So, how well do you know the Viper?
Take your shot. I got the setup to the west.
I am Jowen Glastrom, First Warden and Supreme Commander of Weishaupt. I received word of your team's request for Grey Warden assistance after an incursion of the Blight at Demeter's Crossing. Explain yourself, Warden, and bear in mind that the Order remembers your past recklessness.
Many lives would have been lost if not for my recklessness.
You destroyed a building.
To seal off a Darkspawn tunnel to the surface.
In defiance of orders.
Those orders were wrong, sir.
Your report, Junior Warden.
I was part of a team trying to stop an elven mage named Solus from destroying the Veil. When we disrupted his ritual, something escaped from the Fade, and I clearly sensed the corruption of the Blight.
From this mage, Solus?
No, sir. Solus opposes the Blight. He's actually an elven god, Fen'Harel, the Dreadwolf.
I did not come here to listen to fairy tales. I am here because of the Blight.
It's no fairy tale. When we stopped Solus, something got out. According to the Veil Jumpers, it was the elven gods, Elganon and Gillenane. And they're not just evil, they're blighted. The point is that the gods are making the Blight worse. Demeter's Crossing was just the start. That's why we need the Greywardens.
I suspected more politicking from the remnants of the Inquisition. I see now that I was wrong.
I'm really glad to hear that.
It is clear that whatever you did to unleash the Blight has corrupted your already weak mind.
Okay, wait.
You will be taken to Weishaupt and placed under heavy guard until the danger you caused by unleashing the Blight passes.
That's not gonna happen.
I assure you, it will.
We don't have time to fight. I need Grey Wardens marching with me, not at me. That's the only way we have a chance to stop the gods and the Blight.
Let me tell you something about the Blight. It is evil, it is implacable, and above all, it is predictable. The Blight has not changed in over 1,000 years. The Grey Wardens will defeat it, as they always do. And we will do so without a disgraced junior warden causing needless confusion. I suggest you come along quietly.
Adamant Fortress 941, Dragon. The Grey Wardens attempted to raise an army of demons. Hardly the models of good judgment yourselves, are you?
Everyone knows Warden Commander Clarel acted alone at Adamant Fortress.
Acted alone, you say? Imagine if everyone were to see the letter I discovered where you authorize her actions. I wonder how that might complicate the narrative.
Are you prepared to risk the security of the Grey Wardens for this deluded girl?
You may be surprised to learn that I care very little about the security of the Grey Wardens.
Stay away from the Blight, and do not pester the Grey Wardens with any more of your nonsense.
He seems upset. Was it something I said?
That was close. Wasn't looking forward to being dragged off to a Greywarden dungeon. Who should I be thanking for the assist?
Magister Dorian Parvus, at your service. A mutual friend thought you might require some support.
Mayvaris Talani, of the Shadow Dragons.
The very same.
What's your relation to the Shadow Dragons?
About a decade ago, Mayvaris and I started a political faction called the Lucerni. We were going to change Tevinter for the better. Everyone would recognize the common sense benefits of our approach, and we'd all live happily ever after.
I take it that didn't happen.
Mayvaris was framed, kicked out of the Magisterium, and the Lucerni were dissolved. So she took the movement underground.
The Shadow Dragons.
Since I still haunt the Magisterium, that makes me the Shadow Dragon's man on the inside.
I think we made an enemy of the First Warden today. Well, more you than me. He just thinks I'm a dangerous idiot.
Ha! Enemy? I've ignored greater men. No Grey Warden worth the name sits in a Menrathus lounge sipping wine. You need the Wardens? Look for the ones out there fighting the Blight. In the meantime, the Shadow Dragons will keep a close watch on the Venatori. Good luck. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
Only the Veil stood between us and a world of blighted darkness. But on this side, the gods could only tap a trickle. They had to turn that trickle into a flood. They sure could have used Solus's dagger to rip open the Fade. But some foolish mortal had taken it. So, they'd have to create a dagger of their own. Drowning the world in blight. It's just a matter of time.